Welcome to Fair Game. I'm Kristine Leahy. My guest today is a former UFC fighter and one of the few men alive who can expertly analyze combat sports between both humans and robots. Kenny Florian, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Thank you.
So we go way back.
I know.
We both kind of started off in Boston, and I met you doing the story about this kid named Shane.
Yes.
He was blind, and he used to come into your gym to kind of make friends, feel like he was a part of something. I mean, how cool was he?
It's amazing because, again, just walking into a gym and wanting to learn something like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or mixed martial arts, it takes a lot of courage just to do that.
Yeah.
And then now, if you don't have the ability to see and to go, yeah, that's something I really want to learn to do, it just takes an immense amount of courage. So he really was an inspiration in our gym for several years, and it's cool to see how he evolved as a human to get more confidence, and he really was kind of a nightmare on the mats as well. And even though you don't have your vision, but you can have it in different ways. Have the ability to be good with your sensitivity and your ability to feel, weight distribution and all those things. And he really took it to a new level. Now,
is it true that your parents didn't want you to get involved in MMA at all? Like anything but MMA?
Absolutely. First of all, they sent me to Boston College. I graduated BC, and, they expected me to go to law school and do kind of your traditional path. I started out pre-law at BC and didn't go that path. Kind of went a completely different path. For them, they were like, wait, so how are you going to make money? Like, you're going to go to college and now you want to do martial arts for a living? Like, what are you doing? So they didn't really understand that. The story behind that, I was in Brazil, I was training, and I fell off a cliff.
Training for what?
Jiu-jitsu.
So for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
okay,
sorry.
This is
before
college.
I decided to be a professional fighter, after college.
Okay.
And I was in Brazil, I was training jiu-jitsu at the time, maybe a few years, and that was the mecca to go, where you went to go train. I was hiking on this rock, which is called Gavia Rock, a very famous rock in Brazil, in Rio. And as I was hiking, I kind of went off the path. I slipped, fell off a cliff head first. I actually was falling feet down off the cliff. My friend went to grab me. I had a t-shirt on. He pulled me around and then couldn't hold on, so I slipped off. Now I'm going off the cliff head first. And I remember just feeling air, and I'm dropping, and then I just felt like it was that moment where I thought I was going to die. And
how many feet are we talking?
It was probably like 25 feet.
What?
Yeah, it was a big drop. It was
onto
a big
rocks.
Drop. And I fell onto a ledge. If I didn't fall on that ledge, I would have fallen hundreds of feet, and for sure it would have been bad. And I just felt like my whole life flashed before my eyes, and I go, man, I didn't follow what I love to do. I didn't follow my passion. Like, this is so sad. I can't believe I'm going to die on a rock in Brazil. Like, I'm thinking about all these things as I'm falling. And then I landed on this ledge, took the wind out of me. I started laughing. My friends, I could hear them. One of them was crying. They thought I died. And then they kind of climbed down, got me. And I went home and quit my job. I was working at a translation agency at the time, translating financial documents in various languages. And,
sounds fun.
Yeah, so it was really exciting. And I just said, I'm going to dedicate myself to martial arts. I don't know what it's going to be. Am I going to be a teacher? Am I going to be a competitor? Am I going to be an actual mixed martial arts fighter? I had no idea at the time, but I knew that's where I wanted to be.
You're one of the only fighters, one of two actually, to fight in 4 different weight classes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So your heaviest, you were 185, right?
Yes.
And your lightest, you were 145.
Yes.
That's a lot of pounds.
It's a lot of pounds.
What kind of a toll does that take on your body?
Oh, man. So, I wasn't your traditional 185 pounder because, there's kind of this misnomer that if you fight at 185 pounds, that you weigh 185 pounds. But a lot of people are cutting down from like 215 pounds, sometimes more, to get down to 185. So I was like 182 pounds competing at 185.
So you're eating.
So I'm eating like all the time.
Okay.
And I was going against these monsters on The Ultimate Fighter, and it was tough. So here I was at a huge size and strength disadvantage, and for me it was like pure martial arts, because I came up with the idea that technique rules all, that I could be smaller and still be effective. And it does matter. Weight definitely matters. Size definitely matters in that regard. And I felt like it was really tough. It was really, especially because I was new at the sport, and then at the time, the UFC only had a few weight classes. They didn't even have a 155-pound weight class. That only happened until later. So once they brought back that other division or the lighter divisions, that's when I kind of started competing. But 145 was way too much. Like, I felt like that took such a toll on my body. Like, it probably took years off my life.
How much weight did you have to lose when you went to 145?
So I probably went from, same thing, about 180 to maybe more, 182 pounds down to 145 pounds.
So you're losing like 40 pounds.
A lot of weight. And to the point where, so I was training 3 times a day, eating 1,500 calories a day. And it was like for 2 months to make that weight. And I felt like, on weigh-in day, which is, about 24 hours before you fight, I felt my kidneys were hurting, my liver, like I felt like my body was gonna shut down. My brother Keith wanted to like shut down the weight cut. He's like, this is not safe, you do not look good. And it was brutal. And some of these weight cuts are like that for a lot of fighters.
So you lost almost 40 pounds in 2 months?
Not the right way to do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the math because I know there's a lot of people like, how do I do that? Yeah. I mean, are you just eating vegetables?
So essentially, I mean, you have to eat super clean. So not only are you eating super clean, but also you dehydrate for probably the last week. You do this thing called water loading where you take in a lot of water into your body to kind of remove the sodium out of your body so you could sweat a lot easier. And then you're either going into a sauna or a hot tub to sweat the rest of the weight off. And yeah, I mean, people will sweat out, I don't know, around 15 pounds, 10 pounds, in like a day. It's intense, it's brutal. I mean, it's not good for you because your brain's losing that water, right? And then you have to go in there and compete. So it was, for a lot of fighters, they want to be as big as possible. And I think that was one of the things that I was looking for as an advantage, fighting at 145 pounds. And I didn't feel great when I competed.
Okay, your daughter, totally switching topics.
Yes.
Your daughter, I've heard that you're okay with her learning jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
You are not okay with her fighting. Explain
I know.
this.
Here I am being a hypocrite here. I want her to know how to defend herself. I think it's important, especially for women to know how to defend themselves.
Absolutely.
I think it gives them confidence, and also the lessons that you learn on the mat are so important. You learn so much about yourself and what you're capable of, and working through adversity is so important. But I don't, the fight life is a difficult life, and there's a lot of suffering that goes on. And for me, like, I just adore my daughter, and she's only a year and a half, but like, you don't want to see your kid suffer and have to go through all these things. I think it's
like the physical. What are you talking about? What do you not want her to deal with?
Okay, so like the physical part of like the brutal training sessions, and also like, you're getting hit in the head. That's not great. Obviously, I would hope that she wouldn't have this. Are
you just being a sensitive dad right now? Where you're like, no, can't watch. If you had a son, would it be easier?
It may be. Like, she's so gentle and sweet, and I definitely want her to learn martial arts. I would not want to see her get hit or hurt.
Check out our YouTube channel, Fair Game on FS1, to catch all the best highlights of our show. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.